Here is something most car dealerships in America would rather you never figure out. The car you think you can afford and the car you actually can afford are almost always two different vehicles, and the space between those two numbers is quietly draining thousands of dollars from American families every year, not because buyers are careless, but because the entire buying experience is designed to keep you from doing the math clearly before you sign anything. Today we are going to walk through the real formula for figuring out your number, not the number your salesperson pitches, not the number that happens to fit a monthly payment you could technically survive, but the number that actually protects your financial life and keeps you from spending the next 6 or 7 years regretting a decision you made in a showroom on a Saturday afternoon. Let's start with where things stand right now. In 2025, the average new car in the United States costs over $50,000. The average amount financed on a new vehicle hit $42,582 by the end of 2025, according to Experian. The average monthly payment on a new car is $767, and close to 19% of all new car loans, nearly 1 in 5, now come with monthly payments above $1,000 a month. None of that is normal. None of it is healthy, and most people signing those papers have no idea they are buying a financial problem with 4 wheels and a warranty card. The most important thing to understand about the car buying system in this country is that dealerships want you thinking about one number, the monthly payment, not the total price, not the interest rate, not the loan term, just that single monthly figure, because the moment you anchor to a monthly number, they can stretch your loan. 284 months, load the deal with add-ons, and sell you a car you cannot actually afford while you leave the lot feeling like you got a great deal. In 2025, less than 6% of car loans were 48 months long, 36% were 72 months, and 84-month loans, that is 7 years, hit a record high, representing close to 1 in 5 new vehicle loans, according to Edmunds. Think about what that means in practice. You are still making monthly payments on a car in its 7th year of life, a car that has depreciated significantly, may need repairs, and could require new tires and brakes, while you are simultaneously still paying the lender for the privilege of driving it. If you are still paying for a car in its 7th year while it depreciates every single month, something has gone seriously wrong, and the industry built that structure intentionally because it keeps your monthly payment number manageable while dramatically increasing the total amount you spend. Here is how to protect yourself. There are several established rules for car affordability in the United States, and we are going to run real numbers through each one so you can apply them to your own situation before you ever walk into a dealer. The most widely used rule comes from sources including Edmunds and Kelley Blue Book. Your monthly car payment should not exceed 15% of your monthly take-home pay on a new car, or 10% on a used car or lease, and your total transportation costs, payment, insurance, and fuel combined should never go above 20% of your monthly take-home. Let's use a real household. The median U.S. household income was $83,730 in 2024, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. After an estimated 22% in federal taxes, that works out to roughly $6,027 per month in take-home pay. At 15%, the maximum monthly car payment for that household is about $900. At the more conservative 10%, it drops to around $600. Now look at where average payments actually sit in the real market: $767 on a new car. That is already 12.5% of median take-home, and not a single dollar of that figure covers insurance, gasoline, or an oil change. That is the average payment, which means a very large portion of American households are already past the line that financial experts say you should never cross. Now let's apply the same rule to a few different income levels so this becomes personal for you. If you take home $4,000 a month, your maximum car payment under the 15% rule is $600. If you take home $5,000, it is $750. At $6,000 a month take home, you have a ceiling of $900. The moment a salesperson pushes you toward a car with a payment above those numbers, and they will, you know exactly where your boundary is. The second rule is more aggressive and considerably more protective of your long-term finances. It is called the 24-10 rule. Put at least 20% down on the vehicle. Keep the loan term for years or less, and spend no more than 10% of your gross monthly income on all vehicle expenses combined. That means payment, insurance, fuel, registration, and maintenance, every single dollar counted together on that same median income of $83,000, 10% of gross monthly income is about $697 all in. Every car-related dollar you spend in a month under $700. Now compare that to reality in 2025. The average new car payment alone is $767. Average full coverage car insurance runs about $225 a month according to Bankrate. When the U.S. Bureau of Transportation Statistics calculated the total annual cost of owning and operating a vehicle in 2024 at 15,000 miles per year, the number came out to $8,541 or roughly $711 a month on top of the loan payment. Add just the average loan payment and insurance together and you are already sitting near $1,000 a month. The 24/10 rule says your entire car budget for a median household should be under $700. That is a gap of $300 per month, $3,600 a year. That millions of Americans are quietly overspending simply because they never ran this calculation before sitting across from a finance manager. This is not meant to discourage you from buying a car. It is meant to show you precisely why the average new car is financially out of reach for the average American income and why the financing industry has quietly extended loan terms to bridge that gap in a way that benefits the lender, not you. There is a third rule worth knowing. It is called the 35% rule, and rather than focusing on monthly payments, it gives you a maximum ceiling for the total purchase price of the vehicle. Your car's price should not exceed 35% of your annual gross income. On the median income of $83,730, that puts your maximum vehicle price at $29,305. Not the average new car sticker of over $50,000. Not even the average financed amount of $42,000, $29,000 is the ceiling. That number gets you a solid used vehicle with reasonable mileage, a based rim or mid-trim sedan from a reliable brand, or a certified pre-owned compact crossover. That is not a compromise. That is a financially intelligent decision that keeps the other 65% of your income available for savings, investments, rent or mortgage, and everything else your life actually requires. Now let's talk about what happens to your money depending on how you finance, because this is where buyers quietly lose tens of thousands of dollars without ever seeing it itemized on a single document. Your interest rate is not just a number on a contract. It determines how much extra you actually pay for the car beyond the sticker price, and the difference between a good rate and a bad rate is enormous. In 2025, the average rate on a new car loan was between 6.5% and 7% for buyers with solid credit. According to Experian and Edmunds, for used car loans, that average was over 11%. If your credit score is in poor shape, you could be looking at rates ranging from 16% to over 21%. Let's make that concrete with actual dollar figures. On a $42,000 new car loan at 7% over 72 months, you will pay roughly $9,000 in interest alone by the time the loan is done. On a used car loan at 11% over the same term, you are adding close to $9,500 in interest on a $27,000 vehicle. That is money that leaves your household and never comes back. Money that goes entirely to a lender in exchange for borrowing a depreciating asset. This is why getting pre-approved before you walk into any dealership is not a nice to have. It is necessary. Credit unions and online lenders consistently offer lower rates than dealer finance offices, according to Bankrate. Shopping with at least 2 or 3 lenders before you step foot in a showroom gives you a real rate in hand, and takes away the dealer's most powerful tool, the ability to control your financing. And once you have that pre-approval, never tell the dealer what your maximum is. The moment you reveal that number, they stop negotiating price and start managing your ceiling. Let's talk about depreciation, because it works silently in the background of every car deal and it is one of the most consistent wealth destroyers for American buyers. A new car can lose up to 60% of its value over the course of a typical loan, according to Kelley Blue Book. When you combine steep depreciation with a 6 or 7-year loan term and a low down payment, you end up in a situation called being underwater, meaning you owe more on the car than the car is actually worth on the open market. This is not a rare edge case. It is the predictable outcome of the loan structures that have become standard in this country, and it has real consequences. If the car is totaled, your insurance company pays you market value, not what you owe the lender. If you need to trade it in before the loan is paid off, you could end up writing a check at the dealer just to exit the old deal before you can begin a new one. Before we talk about who should be buying right now and who should wait, here are 3 dealer tactics that are well documented and worth having in your mind before you ever set foot in a showroom. The first is the payment conversation. The moment a salesperson asks what monthly payment you are comfortable with and you answer, you have handed over control of the entire negotiation. They will now engineer every number in the transaction to hit your ceiling, not to get you the best price, not to offer the best rate, but to reach your number in the way that maximizes their margin. The second is the daily breakdown. It's only $24 a day less than your morning coffee. $24 a day is $8,760 a year. Do not let that framing reduce a major multi-year financial commitment to something that sounds trivial. The goal of that line is to make you feel like you are overthinking a small thing. You are not. You are making one of the largest purchases of your life. The third is the finance office pile-on. After you have agreed on the car price, a separate finance manager will present gap insurance, extended warranties, paint protection packages, tire and wheel coverage, and other add-ons, often rolling them directly into the loan. Each one increases your principal, your total interest, and your monthly payment. Some of these products have genuine value. Most are overpriced versions of protection you could get elsewhere for less. None of them should be agreed to in the moment without taking them home and researching them first. So who should actually be buying a new car right now? If you can put 20% down, keep your total monthly transportation costs under 20% of your take-home, and still maintain your emergency fund and retirement contributions, buying the car you need makes real sense. There is also a meaningful new tax benefit worth knowing about. From 2025 through 2028, American buyers can deduct up to $10,000 per year in car loan interest on a new vehicle with U.S. final assembly, provided your modified adjusted gross income is under $100,000 individually, or $200,000 for joint filers, under a law signed in July 2025. Who should not be buying new right now? Anyone who needs a 7-year loan to make the monthly payment feel manageable. Anyone putting less than 10% down on a vehicle that will depreciate faster than they pay it off. Anyone whose current vehicle costs already push past 20% of monthly take-home. For those buyers, a reliable used car in the $15,000 to $25,000 range, financed through a credit union at the shortest term your budget allows, is the smarter move by a wide margin. It is not a lesser choice. It is a financially superior one. Here is the formula, stripped down and practical, for use before you ever visit a dealership. Take your monthly take-home pay, multiply by 10% for a conservative payment target, or 15% for the maximum on a new car purchase. That is your payment ceiling, and it is non-negotiable. Then get actual insurance quotes on the specific vehicle you are considering before you allow yourself to fall in love with it. Add average fuel and maintenance estimates for that vehicle type. If the combined total of those 3 expenses exceeds 20% of your monthly take-home, you are looking at the wrong car and you need to adjust down. For the total purchase price, take your annual gross income and multiply by 35%. That is the most you should pay for a car. If the vehicle you want costs more than that number, your options are clear. Save a larger down payment, choose a less expensive vehicle, or wait until your income supports the purchase. Get pre-approved at a credit union or bank before you negotiate anything. Bring that rate to the dealer and let them try to beat it. If they can, take the better rate. If they cannot, you already have your financing. The American car market in 2025 is structured around one outcome: getting you to spend more than you should. Average prices above $50,000, record loan terms stretching toward 84 months, used car rates above 11% on average, and finance offices trained to manage you by monthly payment, rather than by total cost. The buyers who come out ahead are the ones who ran the math before they walked in, who set their ceiling before anyone else had the chance to set it for them, and who understood that a monthly payment that fits into your budget is not the same thing as a car you can actually afford. Know your take-home, know your payment ceiling, Know your total ownership cost before you fall in love with any specific vehicle. Do the math at home, not in the showroom, and never let the energy of a car lot override the numbers you already calculated before you arrived. The right car for your budget exists, just make sure you build the budget before you build the wish list.